Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast. I am here with my co-host Silent. Um,
Hee-hoo.
yeah, she's back this time, which is
Do,
good
do, do,
because
do, do.
yeah, that's her vocal cords. It's good that she's here this time because I'm gonna be honest, I had no plan. I mean, I had a plan for this
Did you
episode,
crash
but
the plane while I was gone? Did you murder someone? Did everything fall to ruins, catch on fire while I was gone? I told you not to touch the fire.
look, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna keep it a buck. The podcast went off the rails within the first 5 minutes. Like 5
Oh,
minutes into the podcast, everything just went to shit.
I'm sure it wasn't that bad.
You want to know? You know what? I got a fun fact for you, Silent, and the viewers too.
Mhm.
So, you know what a high five is, right?
Yeah.
Can you just take a guess? When do you think the high five was invented?
Um. Uh.
Hmm.
1800s.
I mean, it seems like it's been around forever, right?
Yeah.
But what if I told you that the high five wasn't invented until 1965?
What?
Bruh, I looked it up, man.
So what did they
1965.
call it before? Like, did they like handshake? I mean, I would assume they would handshake, not like slap each other's hands, be like, "Yeah!" I'm
I mean,
assuming they were like,
yeah, not
"Yes,
bro.
hello, good sir."
But the high five just feels like it's been around for like centuries, like forever, like since the beginning of the time, right?
Yeah,
But no, 1965,
that
and
is interesting.
you know when Thomas, what's his name? Who invented the telephone? Was it Thomas Jefferson or Edison? Thomas Edison,
I think it was
or
Edison.
was
Who
did it?
who invented the telephone? Um, Apparently, why did it sign me out of Google? Okay, cool. Apparently Alexander Graham Bell was it, not Thomas. Thomas Edison was the one who invented the light bulb.
Okay, well, I'm probably going to get ridiculed in the comment section for that because
It's okay. Well, no, four people actually created the telephone. There's Alexander Graham Bell who created, like, he was like the main guy who is credited the most. But apparently, Johann, I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it, Johann Philip
Mhm,
Reyes and
mhm.
Amos Dolbear and Antonio, I'm not even gonna butcher that name.
Anyway,
They created it all together.
did you know? So you know when the telephone created was created? Did you know that that is the first time anybody said hello?
What?
Yeah, they wanted a saying when you answer the phone, so they came out with hello. Because you have to know, because back in the day, everybody was proper, so they're just like "Good day to you, sir," or "Top of the morning to you." They didn't say hello or hi. You know, they were proper folks back in the
Yeah.
day. So yeah, once the telephone was invented, they came up with hello. And again, hello just seems like it's been around since the beginning of time, but nah, it just so I know this has nothing to do with ghosts or paranormal or horror stuff, but I just thought it was
Yeah,
interesting.
what are
So
you doing talking about something else besides paranormal things?
I
Can't
just
believe you, son.
I just wanted, to share the knowledge because I didn't think you knew this. I mean,
No.
it was a shock to me, so I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna surprise
That
you.
is interesting. It
But
was a
yeah,
very good surprise. Good surprise.
1965 is when people started slapping hands. Like, because I did research on that, because I'm like, that just doesn't seem right. It feels like people's been doing it forever, but no.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that people don't realize haven't actually been around as long as they think.
You want to know what
It's
else?
interesting.
Yeah. You want to know what else hasn't been around for that
What?
long?
What?
Haunted dolls. Or maybe they have. I don't know. Maybe like in the 1800s, somebody had a haunted doll, but I don't think people started recording like these so-called haunted dolls until like the 1900s, right?
Yeah, I would say honestly
Like
because
maybe haunted dolls been around longer, but they haven't really started recording records of haunted dolls until like the 1900s. So maybe they've been around longer. We just haven't really heard about them since 1900s. So just I tried to segue into this, but the segue just kind of severed. Like we were on a roller coaster, and you were like, let's segue into the next area, and then the train track broke, and the roller coaster kind of fell down, and the cart broke, but anyway, we made it to our destination. We might have had to roll down the hill a little, but we're here.
yep.
So
Apparently the first oh wait, this is the first creepy doll in movie. No, I mean like what is the oldest Oh, apparently the oldest the oldest doll ever found. I mean you might as well call this haunted. This is actually creepy. It's called wooden paddle dolls. They've been found in Egyptian tombs dating to as early as the 21st century BC. Dolls with movable limbs and removable clothing date back to at least 200 BC. But I want to know when haunted dolls
I don't know
first.
about you. This could just be a me thing, but is it just me, or is porcelain dolls are just so creepy to me? Like I'm
Yeah,
fine with
this one's scary.
I'm fine with baby dolls or Barbie dolls or like raggedy dolls, but it's just something about porcelain dolls specifically that just they're eerie.
We we have a museum near where I live that in one of the sections it's a cool museum, don't get me wrong. It's not like creepy at all except for this one part, but there's a whole case full of old porcelain dolls and old teddy bears and stuff, and it's the creepiest thing ever. Like there's so many just porcelain dolls and stuff. It's weird. But it's cool. I don't like it though.
I don't like it either.
Ew.
And I already told
They're
this on the chat or on the podcast before, but I've been trying to get a haunted doll. But I just can't find anybody because there's so much scammers out there. They're like, "Oh yeah, it's haunted," and they're not. They're
mhm.
just not. I might just have
It
to.
it's
I
that
might just have to dig up a body in a grave and shove their soul into a doll.
oh, that would be fun.
I mean, from one forgotten soul to another. It's our podcast name.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you? I don't think I've ever like asked you. I mean, I probably asked you, but like, how do you feel about the Forgotten Souls podcast? Is that a good name?
I like it.
I mean, I like
I
it too.
like it.
I like it too, but I just wanted your input on it.
I think it's great.
We do. I'm trying to think of an intro we could come up with. Like, what's a good intro? Do you know a good intro?
I'm terrible with intros.
Welcome to the home of the forgotten. I don't know.
Home of the Forgotten? Are we forgotten now?
I mean, we're forgotten souls, are we not? We're trying to look for a home. We're trying to be seen.
I want to be seen. See me.
I mean,
Please see me.
anyway, enough of this Baja. That's not even.
Uh-huh.
I regret saying that. That came out of my mouth, and I immediately like ugh.
It's okay.
But I got some haunted dolls. So first, we're gonna talk about Okiku. I think that's how you say it. Is Okiku. Also, my computer's kind of breaking, so I'm trying to get another one. Is like my audio going in and out, or is it fine?
I think it's not cutting in and out or anything.
Okay, because I know sometimes it does. But anyway, Okiku, also known as the haunted doll that grows real human hair. That's disgusting.
Weirdo. Yeah. I can't imagine like just a doll like growing actual human hair like all of a sudden. Excuse you,
So,
dog. Sorry if you hear
no,
my dog in the background.
that's all cool. Um, Anyway, so the story of Okiku Ninyo,
Oh,
Ninyo is basically means a human shaped doll,
yeah.
from what I've heard. You can fact check me
Mhm.
on that. I think Nino means human shaped doll.
Nino?
Yeah, you can fact check me on that. I think that's what it means, but I'm not like 100%. Yeah, that's what it means. Not really good with other languages. I can barely speak English.
I think it means. Well, Nino means like boy, right? In Spanish. But this isn't Spanish, is it?
Mm-mm, this is Japan or
Yeah,
Japanese.
that's what I thought. Hold on.
Also, I'm
Uh,
going to throw up a picture of the doll so
E.
y'all guys can see it. There we go. I'm also,
Uh,
I'm also gonna go to
Ni means
I'm gonna send you the picture on Discord so you can like know what I'm looking at.
E.
Wait, is this it? I think this is it. Yeah. Okay, so this is what the doll looks like. See,
Oh, that's cool.
it's creepy. It's not cool. Look at that. And apparently that hair is real. But anyway, I'm gonna throw a picture up
Mm.
screen on the podcast so y'all know what the doll is. But anyway, so basically the story kind of begins in like 1918. So a young man named Ikichi Suzuki. I
Mhm.
have it written down on my pad because I didn't write down the whole story, just kind of like key points, but mainly the
Mm.
names because I'm not good with names. But I think it's pronounced Ikichi Suzuki. But anyway, he was visiting he was Sapporo, Japan.
Mhm.
Now that I'm going into this, I'm just
Butchering the names and stuff.
there's so yeah, I'm just not good with other culture names. I just for the life of me I can't pronounce them.
It's okay. I've been practicing my Japanese recently. Fun.
So guys, if I butcher it, don't take it personal. I'm an American. I don't know what I'm talking about, but whatever. Not that's an excuse, but you know, American English is the hardest language to learn because we have so much slang, which also
Yeah.
which set like American English is the hardest language to learn, which also makes other languages so hard to learn for Americans because it's just like anyway, and we're not gonna go into that. That has nothing to do with the dog with human hair. But Ikichu Suzuki was visiting Sapporo, Japan, and saw a doll which he immediately knew would be the perfect gift for his 2-year-old sister, Okiku. And the doll was just under 16 inches tall and dressed in a traditional Japanese kimono. Is it kimono?
Kimono. It's kimono.
Okay. With yeah, it
E.
has shoulder length hair. Also,
Mm.
a 16-inch doll was kind of tall for a doll, right?
Well, I don't know because Japan could be normal.
Maybe for them, yeah, but and also it was back in like 1918, so it was like over a century ago.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Hmm?
when Akichi
Paper
re-
dolls were common.
yeah, I think so. But anyway, when Akichi returned home, he presented the doll to his sister, and it quickly became her constant companion. If the doll was not on Okiku's possession or in Okiku's possession, it was always um it was always nearby and was never out of her sight. Just a quick thing. We all had that one item as a kid that we just hold held on to. Like wherever we go, we had it. For me, it was a stuffed animal. It was like a blue jellyfish that I just carried everywhere. Do you have one that you carried everywhere?
I I still have it because I have anxiety and it makes me feel better, but I have this little kind of like it's a blanket, but it's like a bear. It's like a little teddy bear head and then the arms and then it's like a little baby blanket thing.
That
But
threw
it's
my
and then
jelly.
it goes into
Yeah,
a blanket and yeah,
my
I
dad.
have had it since before I was born.
Yeah, my dad threw my jellyfish away.
Oh,
Yeah, it
it's
was a
okay.
sad day. Anyway, back to creepy dolls. So the little girl loved the doll so much she named it after herself, Okiku. In 1919, tragedy struck and Suzuku's family when Okiku became ill. She passed away from a high fever at the age of only 3. So because back in the day they didn't really have medicine we have nowadays. So if even because like when you get a fever nowadays, it's like, oh, it's not that bad at all. But since they didn't have any medicine back in the day, if you got a
Mm-hmm.
fever, fevers were almost just like fevers nowadays. Well, fevers back then was kind of just as deadly as cancer is today. You know?
Yeah, a lot of illnesses back then, even though there was a lot of natural remedies more so back then, it was still very dangerous with fevers and stuff like that.
Yeah,
It
because
was very much dangerous.
nowadays when somebody has a fever, nobody's worried. We're like no big deal, right?
Yep.
But fevers were deadly back then because they just didn't have the medicine to fix it. Um. Anyway, so this little girl got a fever and she tragically passed away at the age of 3.
That's kind of sad.
It is sad. So the original plan, like the original plan for the doll was, they were planning on burying it with Okiku. So they were gonna
Hmm.
bury their daughter and just kind of put the doll with her, bury the doll with her. But that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't actually wind up happening. So instead, the doll was placed on a small altar in Suzuku's home for remembrance. Kind of like a shrine, basically. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people I have heard do in Japan if they have a loved one that has died and stuff. In their house, they'll have not, it's not a shrine, but it looks more so like one. And people can correct me, but they'll like offer food and stuff to the dead. It's almost like when someone celebrates Dia de los Muertos. They go to the grave and they offer food and stuff, but they have it in their house, and maybe it'll be like if they have like if they cremated the body, they'll have the ashes in the jar, but they'll like light candles and stuff and offer food and stuff to keep them
Yeah.
at peace
So there was
and
like this, what would it be called? Like a memorabilia, I guess?
yeah,
Something
uh
like, well, not exactly, but similar.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
it's
that I would say that.
I don't know what it
Um,
is. It's just like I don't know. They just made something in their house. It has like since the doll was kind of like their daughter's favorite thing in the entire world. It's like
mhm.
front. You probably the picture I showed you. That's what the thing looks like. You can see the doll in the middle with the
Yeah.
yeah. But anyway, so the family soon began to think that there was an extraordinary connection between their deceased Okiku and the Okiku Nino. At at one point, they noticed something very unusual. The doll, which had an Okapa hairstyle, you know, you know what that
Mhm.
means. You know what an Okapa hairstyle is?
I assume what the doll has.
Yeah, it's basically like and a Okapa hairstyle is basically like a cropped at around the jawline length,
Yeah.
basically. You know, it's like I don't know. It's basically around the jawline is when the hair ends. You know, kind of like most
Yeah.
Japanese people have.
Yeah. They have that specific length.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. I know you probably know, but I'm just, letting the viewers know that's what it is. But
E.
um yeah, so a kappa hairstyle is basically cropped around the jawline length with a small fringe over the forehead, which is what you're
Mhm.
seeing right now. And yeah, now the parents has have noticed that started to get longer, started to grow. As time passed, the shoulder length hair on the doll began to grow, eventually reaching 10 inches in length. The Suzuki
She.
family, yeah, exactly, I know. Like the family believed that the spirit of I, Okiku, why did I say Okuka?
Oh. Yes. Great
the, fa-
pronouncing.
the family thought that the spirit of Okiku, Jesus. They thought their dead daughter was in the doll. God. I'm sorry. I'm just. But anyway, so like it started like at the jaw, and then it just over time it kind of grew to like 10 inches long. 10
Gee.
inches exactly. I don't know about you. I never personally had a doll before, but and I'm not really knowledgeable about dolls, but I'm pretty sure the hair is not supposed to grow.
No, unless like you're like putting like you're experimenting with a doll and being like, oh yes, I want the hair to grow like a real child.
Even if they do create that in the future, I would be sketched out.
Yeah, I would too, not gonna lie.
Anyway, the doll stayed in Suzuka's home for about 20 years. In 1938, Kikuko's family decided to move from, here we go, I'm going to try to pronounce this,
Hmm.
Hokkaido? Hokkaido? That seems about
Hokkaido.
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 Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Mhm.
the family decided to move from Hokkaido only instead of taking their daughter's doll with them. They decided that it would be best, to just remain on the island.
Mhm.
So, by the way, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier. They kind of lived on a small island.
Makes sense, honestly.
So yeah, they moved off the island and they just kept the doll on the islands. I guess just so Okiku wouldn't be disturbed or something. I don't know. Anyway, the
Hmm.
doll was then taken to here we go again. Manenji. Manenji.
Uh,
It's
hold on.
Mannenji.
MA what?
So
Mhm.
Manenji.
Uh-huh.
Guys,
Menenji?
Yeah, guys, I promise you, once we get into the American dolls, I'm not gonna struggle this freaking much. It's just I'm not good with like it's just mainly like Spanish names and Japanese names, Chinese names. Just like those like big cultural things.
Yeah.
I struggle
Don't
with.
worry, I got your back. I know how to pronounce these the
Thank
best of my
you.
ability. Still learning things, but
Anyway, the doll was then taken to the Man Man temple. Let's just call it that. It was taken to a temple where it remains to this day. So
oh,
reportedly the monks that care for the Okiku doll occasionally trim the still growing hair to its original shoulder length. So basically, like the hair just keeps on growing. So they would actually trim the hair to where it should be around the jawline, and then it just grows back.
oh,
So if they just
oh.
don't cut it and they just let the hair grow, this might turn into a Chewbacca doll. Not gonna lie, there's hair everywhere. Might turn into Rapunzel. Um, might turn.
Don't mind my family just coming in without knocking.
No, that's cool. My grandparents did the same thing. But once we move
Cut it
out,
all out. Bleep it. Bleep it all out. Bleep all the noise out that you hear.
that requires editing, and I just rather not,
That's fair.
unless you want me
Don't
to.
do it. No, no. Don't do it.
Anyway, so the monks would cut the hair once it gets too long, back to the original length around the jawline. So, but I don't know, man. Like, who would be brave enough to give Okiku's a haircut? Because I wouldn't want to be around a doll that just constantly grows the hair. But yeah,
That
apparently, yeah. Go on. Sorry.
I wonder if you take care of it, it'd be okay. Like it
I mean, she's
wants
not like
to just be. She,
a malevolent spirit, and
yeah.
it's not like they get a weird vibe around her. They feel her watching her or any of that. It's just like the only thing is that the hair just keeps growing. So she kind of just keeps to herself, really. She doesn't bother anyone. It's just her hair just constantly grows.
So I mean, it would be cute to take care of it as long as it doesn't go murderous or anything on me.
Yeah.
Just be cute. It's a little scary, but I mean, like, I mean, it's not like it's harming anybody.
hmm So apparently, a priest of the temple had a dream conveying that this was the doll's wish, and generally, um, was haunted or what haunted dolls want. Haunted dolls get, I don't know if you know this, but
Hmm.
you probably know. Like
Yeah.
if a haunted doll wants something, the haunted doll is gonna get something, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently this priest had a dream that the doll came to the priest in a dream and say, "Hey, man, I'm not gonna bother you, but I just have one request. You gotta cut my hair, man. You gotta make me look fresh, make me look clean out there. If it gets too long, I need to trim." And the priest was like, "You know what? I got you." That's the only request. But I don't know, man. It's said that even scientific explanations of Okiku's confirmed that the hair was that of human
Actually
child.
growing and stuff.
Yeah,
That's
like
so weird.
that's the thing. Like scientists literally went on the island. Scientists themselves, and you know how smart Japanese scientists are, right?
Yeah.
They're like extremely intelligent, and even they were baffled. They did research and they confirmed that no, this hair belongs to a human child. Not just a human, just a human child specifically. So
Huh.
I don't know.
It's just so weird.
I know. And yeah, Okiku has been residing at this temple ever since 1938. And the people often come to
Mm.
see its legendary human hair for themselves, but I don't know why, but there apparently you're not allowed to take pictures. You're not allowed to photograph it for whatever reason. They just don't allow you to take pictures. You can go visit the
Oh.
dog whenever you not dog. You can go visit the dog whenever you want. You're just not allowed to, you know, take a picture of it.
Yeah. Huh.
But that's the story of that doll.
Hmm.
So, what do you
That
think?
was. I mean, it's interesting because, like, I mean, I think this is a thing, but I think people. I mean, like, people make have made dolls with human hair before. Dolls with human
Yeah.
hair, but I mean, like, I think yeah. So there's dolls made with human hair. But like it's weird because like when was this doll like uh uh growing hair and stuff? Like when was this?
Um. Well, the girl got the doll in 1918, and I don't think they actually. I could be wrong, but I don't think they actually noticed the hair was growing until 1938.
Oh, so it's not like a long time ago, but people definitely didn't make dolls regularly with human hair. I don't think back then. Um,
Maybe
from
not.
what I know, but I don't know. I am not an expert on doll making with actual human hair and stuff and growing, as a matter of fact. It's so weird and interesting to me.
Yeah.
There's
So
actually a lot of dolls that have. Oh God. Okay, I'm not looking at that anymore.
is
Okay,
that is
cool.
this starting to creep you out?
It's just a little weird that I just looked up because I was trying to see
Well,
when dolls were
if
made
this
with
doll
human hair.
if this doll didn't creep you out by looking at it, this next doll will. So this doll is
Or
called Mandy. Yep, just Mandy.
just Mandy?
Mandy the doll. Ever heard of Mandy before?
No.
Ever? Hold on, I'll give you a picture of Mandy real quick. Hold on, give me 1 second. Cause like I'm gonna throw it on the screen too for the people watching, but Mandy is a creepy looking doll. And if I have to sit here and look at Mandy's face, so do you. Th-
Oh,
but yeah, have so you never heard of Mandy before?
no, I haven't.
Oh, well then.
I've only heard of a few dolls. I haven't really gotten too into dolls because they are on the more creepy side, and I sometimes I do get creeped out.
I get creeped out too, but I still want to own one. So that's Mandy the doll. Mandy the doll. Enjoy.
Oh, that's fun.
Anyway,
That's
so we're gonna get into this story. Also, sorry that I was stumbling on the last doll. It's just these Japanese names just got me my tongue twisted. But hopefully we're good. So anyway, so Mandy the haunted doll currently lives
mm,
in the Quinnell, Quinnell, Quinnell. The S is silent. Quinnell Museum. Have you heard of the Quinnell Museum?
I have.
I
Yes.
I don't know if y'all ever have this problem, but sometimes I talk faster than my brain can think, so I always wind up mumbling or jumbling. Like I don't know. Do you ever have that problem? Like your mouth moves faster than your brain can think, and you're just wind up mumbling words.
Yes. Yep.
Normally, I'm
Yep.
not like this, but I don't know. It's just the entire day. I've just been my brain's just been slow, and I've been trying to say something, but my brain doesn't think that fast, and I'm like, anyway. So Manny the Haunted Doll lives at the Quesnel Museum, which is located on the Old Caribou Gold Rush Trail in British Columbia, Canada. So Canadian doll. There she
Yeah.
is. There she is, just one of 30,000 artifacts on display of the public or for the public. But there's a little doubt that she is the most unique. So think about that. This museum has 30,000 artifacts.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And she is probably the one not one of the. She might be the most unique. I don't know. Never visited the museum before. Maybe one of these times you and me should just go to a haunted museum, see what we can find.
That'll be fun.
You seemed a bit hesitant.
No, no.
I don't know. You sound like you're into it, but you also aren't at the same time.
I want to go, but yes. Oh, I have a haunted history museum near me. Cool.
Perfect. Let's go there.
You don't want to go to this. I'll tell you about it later. It's not a good town to go to.
Let me guess. Jacksonville.
No, fortunate.
I mean, Jacksonville's kind of.
No,
Anyway, we'll talk about it later.
yeah.
Um. Anyway, Mandy was donated to the museum in 1991. At the time, her clothing
Mm.
was dirty, her body was ripped, and her head was full of cracks. Which the picture you guys are seeing on the screen, y'all can see the cracks in her head. But
Huh.
at at the time, she was estimated to be over 90 years old. So they got the doll in 1991, but the people that got it, they looked at her and they're like, I think this doll might be over 90 years old. At least that's what they think. But
Oh.
yeah, the saying around the museum, or I guess the gossip around the museum is she may seem like an ordinary antique doll, but she is much more than that. That's a quote by someone. Who? I don't know. It doesn't I couldn't find who said it, but
Anonymous.
somebody in the museum said it. But the woman who donated Mandy was also called Miranda. Um, they told
Mm.
the museum curator that she would wake up in the middle of the night hearing a baby crying from the basement. Imagine like you wake up at like 2 a.m. and you just hear a baby crying in the basement and
Oh,
you're like, that
jeez.
you're just like,
That freaks me out. That actually freaks me out when if that ever happened.
you just wake
Ugh.
up and you're like, that's weird. I don't remember a baby being in this house.
I don't remember having a baby in this house. I
Like,
don't remember
and
that.
even worse when it comes from the basement. But yeah, when
Yes.
she, so the woman woke up in the middle of the night, heard the baby crying, and when she went down there to investigate, she would find a window near the doll open where it had previously been closed, and the curtains blowing in the breeze. So yeah, when she went to bed,
Hmm.
the window was closed. Woke up in the middle of the night, heard the baby crying. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay. Anyway, that's just my grandma. Um, sorry, sorry for the pause. But anyway, she woke up in the middle of the night, heard a
Mhm.
baby crying, went downstairs, and the doll was sitting there, right where she left it, obviously. But the window behind the doll was wide open, and she
Oh.
closed it. The window was closed before she went to bed. So, this baby somehow opened the window.
Oh.
But yeah,
Did she check the rest of the house in case someone broke in?
I don't know. But yeah, the
That's
lady who
that's what I'm curious about.
but the donator later on told the museum that after the doll was given to the museum, she was no longer disturbed by the sounds of babies crying in the night. So as soon as she got rid of this
Oh,
doll, all this stuff stopped. No more baby crying, no more windows opening, just peaceful.
yeah.
But
Huh.
bro, just waking up and just hearing a baby crying, bro, that would I don't really get scared that easily, but that would be like, oh my god, that would just no thank you. I'm not into that. Not into that at all. Okay.
It'd be weird if you just hear baby cries in the night.
Shut up, baby. I'm trying to sleep. Um
Imagine though if it's in someone's house that doesn't even care if it's haunted. They're just too tired to even care. So they're like,
look, bro.
ugh,
I got
whatever. Just shut up.
like, bro, baby. I got work at 5 a.m., bro. You better shut up, man, before I muffle you with a pillow. Anyway, so some people say that Mandy has unusual powers. Many speculate that the doll has acquired these powers over the years, but since little is known of the doll's history, nothing can be said for certain. So, what is certain, however, is the unusual effect she seems to have on everyone around her. So, they think she has powers. Like, her backstory is kind of just unclear. Like they don't really know where she came from, how she became haunted. Like her backstory and how she became to be, like they don't really know. It's all speculation, but nobody actually knows, which makes it even creepier. Because it's like, where did she come from? Who possessed her? Did she become haunted? Why does she decide to cry in the middle of the night when people are trying to sleep? These are the questions I want answers, but
Maybe she's haunted by an actual baby and the baby just wants a little love.
well,
Would you hug the baby? Like
well,
if that's all I wanted.
Well, once I tell you the next few things, you're gonna be like, "Yeah, I'm not touching that baby." Anywho,
Cool.
sorry, baby. It's just no love for you.
No love for
Um,
you tonight.
so as soon as Mandy arrived at the museum, staff and volunteers began to have weird and unexplainable experiences. Lunches would disappear. Okay, so first of all, this damn baby decides to wake
They
everyone in the
stole
house.
the food?
Yes, this baby wakes people in the house crying and shit. And she's also, bruh, I swear, if I come to work and I put my food in the fridge, come lunchtime, my Lunchable is missing. Oh, bruh, we scrapping. Leave my damn, leave my Lunchable alone. But yeah, she would steal lunches. Lunches would just disappear from the refrigerator. So it's not like they're out in the open. They're literally in the fridge, and they would just disappear.
Oh.
But no matter, because the lunches were found later on, tucked inside a drawer. The baby would steal food from the fridge and just put it in random drawers around the museum. Also,
Cool.
also, footsteps were heard when no one was around. Pens, books, photos, and many other small items would go missing also. So this baby's a thief, basically. Um, Some some
Yeah.
some of the items were never found, but some of the items did turn up, eventually. And the staff passed these events off as absent mindedness. Is that I'm
Mhm,
pronouncing
mhm.
that right? Right?
I say it again.
mindlessness. You know what? The staff just had. You
Mindlessness.
know what? The staff just thought, oh, oopsie doopsie, so forgetful. But yeah, this didn't account for everything though, because you know, um, since her permanent placement alone in the display case, there have been many stories about encounters with the haunted doll. One visitor was videotaping Mandy, only to have the camera lights go off, and every five, it just go off for every 5 seconds, just cut off. So she would cut the light back on, 5 seconds later, turn back off. Cut it back on, 5 seconds later, cut it back off again. So yeah, when the visitor's camera was turned on another exhibit, it functioned
Mm-hmm.
just fine. So like the lady would like film Mandy and the camera just keep cutting off. But like when the same lady with the same camera went to videotape other exhibits, the camera worked perfectly fine. So
Oh.
you know, it is interesting. It is interesting to note that the same thing often happens when visitors try to photograph Robert the doll in his Key West museum home. So like the same, like with the camera keeps turning off and stuff. The same thing
Mm-hmm.
happens to Robert the doll, which we will get to in a bit. We'll get to Robert the doll. I have him on the list, guys, but Robert the doll will come later. But yeah, just want to note that the same thing happens to Robert, where the camera just keeps cutting out. I just don't think Mandy wants to be videotaped, but some visitors are
He's a
very.
little camera shy.
I
A
mean,
little camera shy.
maybe, but some visitors are very disturbed by the doll's eyes. Which
Yeah. I
people
mean, I don't
say the
think
eyes tend to follow them around the room. Others claim to have seen the doll actually blink, and it still say that they've seen the doll in one position, and minutes later she will appear in a different position. So yeah, that's Mandy.
so. Oh.
What do you think?
The a little creepier. A little creepier, not gonna lie. I don't think I want to give it a hug now. Um,
I told you she might steal something from your pocket. She's a little thief. Okay, so the next doll we have is Pulau Ubin. I think that's how you say it.
that
It,
one I don't know how, so yeah, sure, why not? Yep.
but I looked everywhere and I could not find a lot of information about this doll at all. So I this probably might take only 3 minutes because there's not a lot of information about this doll. And trust me, I looked everywhere, but it's a haunted Barbie doll. Hold on, let me just throw up the image real quick. There we go. I'll send the picture to you, Silent. So it's a haunted Barbie
Mm.
doll, and I looked everywhere, man. I just couldn't really find a lot of information about this doll. But yeah, this is the doll, the
Oh,
haunted Barbie doll. But yeah, I found a little bit of information on it, but I couldn't find a lot. So apparently,
yeah.
the story starts off in 1914 during World War One, right? So supposedly the
Mm-hmm.
British arrested a German couple in Singapore because they thought they were like German spies, which that happened a lot back then. The stereotype. Oh, they're just a German spy.
Yeah.
That happened a lot back then, but anyway, so apparently the couple's daughter ran off and managed to get away. She escaped, right? That's good. It's good that the daughter escaped. The little girl escaped. Isn't that a good thing?
I'm so happy for the little girl.
Yeah, I'm happy too, until she kind of ran off a cliff and died. But
Oh.
yeah, she
Oh.
uh she got away only to plunge off a steep cliff in Pulau Ubin. and crashed to her death. So natives actually constructed a reliquary in her memory with a porcelain altar and a Barbie doll that reportedly contains her crucifix. So yeah, she had a crucifix that they put with the doll. But yeah, the doll is said to hold the child's spirit and soul. The Some people claim that the haunted identity, not identity, but some
Mm-hmm.
claim it's haunted, and over time it has become a local, I guess a local legend, myth and stuff. Well, not a legend because it's kind of like one of those things where everybody in the town be like, oh, that legend exists, or this exists,
Yeah.
that's haunted. It's kind of like that thing. It's just became a kind of a local thing where everyone's just like, yeah, there's something off about that doll. But yeah, the doll is benevolent in nature. What does benevolent mean?
And never.
Yeah.
I don't know that word.
Okay. Well, apparently the doll is benevolent in nature. Um.
Benevolent.
Oh, okay. I know. I think it means like it's not like a bad thing.
Well-meaning and kindly.
Okay, I thought that what it means, but I wanted to make sure. But yeah, so
Yeah.
the doll's kind of benevolent in nature. It helps out the community. And oh my god, I'm sorry. Oh my
It's
god,
okay.
I like try to speak and burp at the same time. Anyway, so the doll
Okay.
helps out the community and guards them against ill fortune. Every year a festival is held and offerings are made for the doll. So
A festival specifically for a doll? For
mhm,
that doll?
mhm.
Lord. Lord have mercy.
That's all I could find.
Jeez.
That's all I could find about the doll. I'm sorry, guys. I really tried to find more information, but there's just not a lot of information about this doll.
Yeah, some of these things, like, there's not gonna be information on, honestly. A
Yep.
lot of information per se, because a lot of it, like, could be, like, more religious and stuff.
Yeah.
Or they just, or, like, cultures want to keep it more secret and stuff, you
I
know?
mean, this is unlike the other dolls on this list. This one is specifically a local thing. So
Yeah.
if you're not in this little town, I don't. I think the town wants to keep it like, oh, it's just a us thing. We don't want to like, let the world know our stuff and things. But yeah, I just couldn't find information about it. But I did find information about Robert the Doll if you want to get into that. You know, Robert the Doll made a little
Yeah.
cameo earlier. He's back.
Oh. Ooh.
I'ma just,
I have heard of that one, but I don't know information. I've only heard the name, honestly.
Robert the Doll is. I don't think I wouldn't say Robert is as bad as Annabelle, but he's up there, man.
Uh-huh.
He's really bad. I think he actually killed someone.
Oh, oh.
Well, he didn't like physically kill someone, but somebody was taunting him, and then somebody
Ah.
went, yeah, somebody was taunting him, and literally, like a few hours later, they got into a fatal crash. I won't get into it, but yeah, that's Robert the Doll, man. See how creepy that is?
No, I don't like that.
Don't
I
say, hey, well, don't say that out loud, man. He might be listening.
I like it so much.
Anyway,
Uh,
so the history of Robert the Doll, right? Um,
mhm.
so first, I'm gonna get into the history first, and then I'll get into like the legend and things. But
Yeah.
the history of Robert the Doll. So the doll originally belonged to Robert Eugene Odo, an artist described as eccentric. Wait, eccentric. Eccentric? Okay, I tried to do it in a proper act.
Eccentric.
I tried. No, I know. I tried to do it in like a proper accent to make it like to make it more dramatic, but it didn't go the
uh-huh.
well.
It
We're just
didn't work.
we're just gonna move on. Let's just move on. Anyway, so yeah, Robert Eugene Odo. So the doll belonged to a prominent Key West family. The doll was reportedly manufactured by the Steve Company. I have it written down. I don't know why it says staff. There's not even an A in the word. A Steve Company of German uh of Germany. So the doll was purchased by Odo's grandfather while on a trip in Germany in 1904 and given to young Odo as a birthday gift. The doll's sailor suit was likely an outfit that Odo wore as a child. So the doll remains stored in Odo's home at 534 Eaton Street in Key West, while Odo studied art in New York and Paris. Okay, he traveled. He traveled.
Oh.
Also, I, I don't know why you gave away your address. I don't think anyone actually lives there though, but
I mean, it could just be like an old house, honestly. Or the
maybe.
property could have been destroyed.
Yeah. Anywho, Odo married Annette Parker in Paris on May 3rd, 1930. Bro, I want to marry someone in Paris. That's romantic, going to Paris and getting married.
And finding your loved one.
Yeah, can't relate though.
That'd be cute.
Anyway, the couple the couple returned the couple returned to the Odo family home in Key West to live there until Odo died in 1974. His wife died 2 years later. After their deaths, the Eden Street home containing the doll was sold to Myrtle Reuter, I think that's how you say it, who owned the doll
Mhm.
for 20 years, man. 20 years. Until the property was sold to the current owners who operate it as a guest house. Okay, so this house is owned by someone. Why'd you give away the
Oh.
address then? People gonna be
I mean, I don't know why people do that.
Robert, Robert, I'm here.
The doll comes out of the closet. Yeah, hello. I'm here as well.
Hey, what's poppin', my whippersnappers? Anyway,
Oh, that'd be weird.
yeah, that's the history. So let's get into the legend. So according to legend, the doll has supernatural abilities, don't they all? Um,
Mhm.
that allows it to move. I wouldn't say that's supernatural. It's more like, I mean, I guess so. But
Yeah.
it also changes facial expressions and it makes giggly noises.
Oh. I would not like that. I don't like creepy, giggly noises
Imagine
from.
you're in the kitchen making pancakes and you just hear hee 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 hee.
It's like, okay, time for breakfast. I can't believe you smelled them all the way from up there in the attic or in the basement. Man,
Hee hee
those
hee.
must be
Is
really
that?
bad.
Do I smell
It's,
brown?
it's like, hee hee, I'm here for the pancakes.
Hee 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 hee. Is that
Oh
hash browns I smell?
god. Yeah, it is. You want to come sit down and have some? Yeah, let me chop off your head while
I
I'm
mean, I
at
mean,
it.
the, I mean, the dog can apparently move, so might make his way downstairs. Being like, "Oh boy, oh howdy, is that grits?" Oh man, eggs, bacon, grits,
God.
sausage.
No, it's like you hear hee hee hee. What's on the menu this morning? I'm like, oh yeah, just eggs, pancakes, bacon. You know the usual. It's like hee
Wow,
hee hee.
yowie, wowie. delicious.
This is funny to me. It's really
Imagine if the
funny to
dog called you
me.
mother, like wowie, yowie, wowie, mother. Wow.
Oh God. Oh my
Anyway,
gosh, that would
we're
be
getting off track. Let's continue. So
okay.
so some versions of the legend, because there's different versions. So some versions of the legend claim that a young girl of Bahamian descent gave
Hmm.
Odo the doll as a gift or as retaliation for a wrongdoing. Kind of like, they cursed the doll and then gave it to Odo. Be like, hey man, I told you I was going to get you back. You did me wrong in the past, so they cursed the doll and they gave it to Odo. Be like, ha, gotcha, bitch. Um,
Oh.
demon in the doll. But yeah, other stories claim that the doll um moved voodoo figurines around the room, and was aware of what went on around him. So apparently, some people think that this doll is self aware. It hears everything, it sees everything, it understands everything that's around it. Imagine, like, because some haunted dolls, they're not really fully aware, they just do stuff. But apparently, they said Robert the
Yeah.
doll is one of those dolls that he's aware. He knows who you are. He sees you every day when you come home from work. If he likes you, he ain't gonna mess with you. But if he doesn't like you, you know, he's gonna mess with you. So like he is self aware. He knows what's happening, but which that's kind of creepy.
It is. I
Like,
so it's so weird. That one's actually kind of
yeah.
a
I don't
little
know, which
more.
one do you think is worse, this or Annabelle?
Um,
I don't know. We'll get
I
into
mean,
Annabelle. So
yeah.
after the podcast, I'm gonna ask the viewers, like, which one do you think's worse? Do you think Annabelle's worse, or do you think Robert the Doll's worse? They're close. They're both neck and neck, but I just want to know which one do you
Hmm.
think's worse? Like Annabelle's probably more like sketchy and scary, but I think Robert the Doll is more violent. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I
but
think Robert
yeah.
is more violent.
Yeah, so there's other legends that claim that the doll vanished after Odo's house changed ownership a number of times after his death. So, um, or that young Odo triggered the doll's supernatural powers by blaming his childhood mishaps on the doll. According to local folklore, the doll has caused car accidents, broken bones, job losses, divorced, and um, a lot of misfortune, and museum visitors supposedly experience post visit misfortune of falling or yeah, for failing to respect Robert. So one thing is, so I'm gonna get into his story. This guy, kind of a douche, he went and started haunting Robert the doll, right? The owner said, "Hey man, that's not a good idea," and he's like, "Man, shut up, bruh." And he kept haunting the doll. He's like, "You ain't gonna do nothing. You're just an empty vessel, right?" On his way
Hmm.
home, 2 hours after leaving, on his way home, he was on a bicycle with his girlfriend, got into a car accident, killed instantly. His girlfriend survived, but the guy didn't.
Oh.
Like the
Oh.
girlfriend respected the doll, right? The guy didn't respect the
Hmm.
doll. They are on a motorcycle, no protection. The girl got banged up, but she didn't get seriously injured. So imagine you're on a motorcycle, 80 miles an hour. Guy died instantly. Girlfriend, no serious injuries at all. So it's almost so they were
Oh.
thinking that since the girl was respectful, the Robert the Doe targeted the guy, but he protected the girl since she was respectful. That's why she didn't get seriously injured. But since the guy was a dick,
Mm.
Robert like, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna protect that person because I like her. But yeah, crazy.
This-
But yeah,
That is that's so weird.
yeah, that's why I said Robert Duvall is probably the most violent because
Yeah.
he caused car accidents, he caused broken bones, divorces, misfortune, and he even literally caused deaths. So it's said. People that go visit Robert Duvall, if you don't respect Robert Duvall, you're just going to have bad luck, man. Like
Disrespect him.
family visited Robert Duvall and they weren't respectful and they had such bad luck that they literally see they weren't even from America. They were from a different country. They were not even from North America, but they had such bad luck
Mhm.
that they literally traveled all the way back to America just to apologize to Robert Duvall. As soon as they apologized to Robert for disrespecting them, went back home,
Mhm.
all the bad luck ended. So all was forgiven. Robert be like, "Yeah, fine, I'll forgive you this time, but don't disrespect me again." But yeah, that's whew. What do you think about Robert the Doll?
Definitely more violent on the violent side.
Yeah, I think Annabelle is probably more like supernatural and like, oh my god, like this is actually
Yeah.
really scary. But yeah, Robert the Doll is way more violent. But he's not like violent as in he just messes with people. He's only violent to the people that disrespect him. So if you respect him, then it's all good. Don't take his picture. Like if you take his picture, you have to say, Robert the Doll, can I take your picture? And then take it. If you take the picture without his permission, like it said that the
Mhm.
picture gets deleted.
Oh.
Like he literally deletes the picture. He just doesn't. You have to ask permission. So we got one final
Oh.
doll. Can you guess what that doll is?
I don't know. Maybe we've mentioned her a few times now. I don't know.
Um. Yep. So one final
Mhm.
doll on the list, and that's Barbie from the Barbie movie. Um. So the thing about this doll, no, I'm just kidding. It's Annabelle, obviously. You know, like you can't have a haunted doll episode and not have Annabelle. And I'm talking about the Raggedy Ann doll Annabelle. I'm not talking about the Conjuring Annabelle, like the Annabelle from the Conjuring universe
Mhm.
and the Annabelle movies looks nothing like it. You know what? Matter of fact, let me throw the. You probably seen Annabelle before, but I'm gonna just send you it silent real quick.
Yeah,
You,
I
you,
have
you,
seen Annabelle.
but
A little
I just
scary,
want you
but
to
I
look at
mean,
this space while we talk about it. But yeah,
cool.
I made sure to get the most creepy picture though.
Oh, good.
But
I'm so
anyway,
happy you made sure to get the most creepiest photo.
welcome. That's what I'm here for.
Why does it say positively do not open? Why can't it just say do not open? Like,
Because
positively do not open. Positively, like you're being happy about it. Like, oh yeah, just don't open it. But that just seems
yeah,
so
it's
weird
just
to me.
like anyway. So Annabelle, Annabelle,
Mhm.
Annabelle, 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 Annabelle. So
Annabelle.
Annabelle, also known
Mhm.
as the Raggedy Ann doll. I think that's what it's called, Raggedy Ann doll.
I
I mean,
think so,
it
yeah.
is a Raggedy Ann doll. It's just like the names they named it Annabelle, but the type of doll is called a Raggedy Ann doll. But anyway, so let's go into this. Like this is a true story. Like everything, the Annabelle you saw in the Conjuring movies and the Annabelle movies, there's a little truth to that, but that's Hollywood over exaggeration. But anyway, so the true story of the real Annabelle doll. So though she doesn't really share the same porcelain skin and lifelike features as her cinematic counterpart, like he looks nothing like the movies, by the way. But
Yeah, no, she doesn't.
this Annabelle doll lives in the occult museum. Has she's famous, from paranormal investigators. Ed and Lorraine Warren. If you are a fan of the paranormal, you know who Ed Lauren and Lorraine Warren is. You just know
Mm-hmm.
they are.
Yep.
They're the pair that actually worked on the case, and is made all the more creepy by how ordinary she appears. Because if you look at this doll right now, like all the other dolls on this list, they look creepy and they are creepy. But not only like you look at them and you're like, oh, I can tell that that's haunted. But with the Annabelle doll, you look at her and you're like, she doesn't look haunted. She looks harmless.
Yeah, she doesn't look like she could do anything. I mean, obviously that photo makes it look like she
Well,
can do
because
things.
the
But
lighting and
she
stuff.
has,
But
yeah, the lighting. But she's definitely has done things more unnatural, like levitating above a desk, for example, on
has she?
multiple occasions.
I mean,
Yeah, so I have her story up right now.
oh, do you want it?
I'm just
Well,
reading.
so I mean, since I, talked about the previous $4, do you want to take this one or do you want me to?
I can say a bit about it. So,
Okay.
pretty much, Annabelle, the Warrens were the ones who originally owned, Annabelle the doll. And she, she did, it's talking about a lot of the movie stuff, but like the actual doll, um, the first, let's see, the first time, hold on, I'm reading. Like not the first time. So when Annabelle was with the Warrens, she was seen, I guess, levitating above the desk on several occasions. Um they ended up calling a priest to the apartment that the Warrens were in, and apparently they discovered that Annabelle's main goal was to take possession of the
Hmm.
Mrs. Warren. uh soul. So Annabelle was a demon pretty much. She was attached to the doll. The Warrens said that the demons don't possess items or things, instead they possess people. Um the priest eventually exorcised the apartment and the Warrens took Annabelle away with them. They both agreed that it would be best to drive home on the back roads, worried that if they drove on the main highways, that Annabelle would find a way to cause an accident. Sure enough, they were plagued with car problems the whole way home. The power steering failed, the brakes failed, and the engine of the car kept stalling. The problem ceased for a little while once Ed Warren sprinkled Annabelle with some holy water.
Oh.
Sprinkle some holy water onto ya. Um, Once the pair got home, Ed put the doll on his desk, thinking that she'd be safe there for a little while. Soon she showed them that what she was really made of. Annabelle was seen rising above the desk, levitating on multiple occasions. Soon that activity slowed down and stopped, and the Warrens thought that perhaps the demon had quieted. But she was soon found in different rooms of the house, moving around, and when the Warrens put her in one place, she would quickly be found in another. Ed and Lorraine called the priest, but he didn't seem to take it too seriously and said to Annabelle that she couldn't hurt him because she was just a doll. That was a big mistake because he was in a car accident on the way home. The car turned over, the brakes failed, and his car was completely written off. Although the priest was badly hurt, he did survive. Annabelle is still around today. Obviously, she is actually a uh in a like a glass case locked up that the Warrens built
Yeah, it's
from letting her get free, and there's a cross above it and stuff
yeah,
like that
it's not
to keep her in.
It's not to it's not to like the protect her from the people. It's to protect the people from her.
Yeah, honestly.
Because
But
like
it's interesting.
yeah, in the past
It's
30 years,
just
Annabelle has caused two near-death experiences and a whole bunch of demonic
jeez.
activities. So
Cool.
I can I can go more into this if you want.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
I would have that.
basically, so kind of just like to give you a little information. So as the story goes, right? So the Annabelle doll has been a gift to a young nurse named Donna, or Deborah, depending on the source. Like Donna and Deborah, it's one of those two names. Some people say Donna, some people say Deborah. But anyway, um, the doll was given to a nurse, right? From her
Mm-hmm.
mother for her 28th birthday. Donna, apparently thrilled with the gift, brought it back to her apartment and she shared it with another young lady named Angie. So at first, the doll was an adorable accessory. Like, look at that face. I mean, I know y'all guys see the lighting and you're like, yeah, that looks creepy, but just take away the lighting, put it just like in
Mm-hmm.
daylight. The doll just looks innocent. Couldn't hurt anyone. But yeah, sitting on a sofa in the living room and greeting visitors with her colorful visage, you know,
Visage?
visage. Okay, that's
Something
probably
like
it.
that.
Visage,
I think.
maybe. I don't know. But yeah,
I don't know either.
yeah. But before long, the two women began to notice that Annabelle seemed to move about the room of her own, on her own accord. So Donna would sit her up
Mm-hmm.
in the living room sofa before uh, leaving for work, only to come home in the afternoon and find her in the bathroom with the door shut. I don't know, man. Maybe Annabelle had to take a massive dump, big dumpy. I'm just
Oh
kidding.
man.
I'm kidding, guys. Everyone knows women don't
Mhm.
poop. But anyway,
Yep. Leave it at that.
women don't use the bathroom. Anyway, Donna and Angie then started finding notes left throughout the apartment reading, "Help me." According to the woman, the notes were written on parchment paper, which they did not even keep in their house. Where did Annabelle get these? I don't know. I don't know, man. Annabelle seems crafty. She's resourceful.
Yeah.
But furthermore, Angie's boyfriend, must be nice. Lucky Angie. Anyway,
Lucky, lucky.
kidding. She's not lucky. You're about to see why. Furthermore, Angie's
Yeah.
boyfriend, known only as Louis, was in the apartment one afternoon while Donna was out and heard rustling in her room as if someone had broken in. Upon inspection, he found no sign of forced entry, but found the Annabelle doll lying face down on the ground. Other people, there's different versions of what this scene takes place. Some people say that he was attacked upon waking up from a nap, but most from what I've read, because I looked at multiple websites. On most websites, people say, "Oh yeah, he went in the room and the doll was face down." But there's a couple of people that said no, he was attacked in a dream and stuff. Had a nightmare about being attacked by the doll. But you
Yeah.
know, anyway, suddenly he felt a searing pain on his chest, and he looked down to find bloody claw marks running across it. 2 days later, they had vanished without a trace. I don't know if you ever got scratched
Ooh.
really bad, but it takes more than two
Yeah.
days. It
Yeah,
takes
it
more than
does.
2 days because I've been scratched by a cat before. I don't know if you have.
I have, yeah.
Takes
It
more than
hurt.
two.
It
It takes more
sucked.
than 2 days to disappear, does it not?
Mine took like a week, but I think I'm very slow with healing.
But yeah, but he said it was like bloody claw marks, as in it got 2 days for that. Nah. But yeah,
Yeah, no.
following Louis' traumatic experience, the woman invited a medium over to help solve their seemingly paranormal problem. The medium had
Mhm.
a seance and told the women that the doll was inhabited by a spirit of a deceased 7-year-old girl named Annabelle Higgins, whose body was found years earlier on the site where their apartment building was. What was that?
Don't mind that. It's my
Okay.
phone.
No, I'm fine with it. It just kind of scared me. I was like, "What the hell was that?" I was like, "Annabelle,
Don't mind,
hello?"
just hello.
Maybe
Come
it's
to
Robert.
play.
Maybe it's Robert the dog doing those stupid baby
Oh,
cries.
God. He's wanting breakfast. Don't mind him. He just wants a little
Um.
breakfast,
Anyway,
dinner breakfast.
the medium claimed that the spirit was a benevolent. Jesus, basically a good spirit, and I simply wanted to be loved and cared for. The two young nurses reportedly felt bad for this spirit and considered, consented to allow her to take up permanent residence in the. You know what? I would have fired that medium right then and there. Fire her. You're meaning to, bro. If you're mediums, see, if you're a medium, all right, you can still feel the energy. Yes, this doll said, "Oh, I'm just a 7-year-old girl who wants love." But you not feel the energy that this does not feel like a child? Can you not feel that this seems a bit too heavy? Like the energy just doesn't feel like a child, right? Or am I wrong? Hmm. Hold on. I don't know. It just.
Yes. Sorry. I just got my driver's license in the mail. I had to
Wait,
get it renewed.
you got your driver
I
license in
had
the
to
mail.
I had to I had to get it renewed. I had to change the address on it. I also got my voting stuff.
And
Adult
how much
things.
did I get correct, Mrs. Puff?
Oh my gosh. Oh,
Anyway,
adult things. God.
yeah. So that's just kind of about Annabelle.
Annabelle, yeah. It's interesting. I like the story and backstory of Annabelle, honestly. It's really cool.
But
I mean, it's definitely creepy, but yeah.
but but that was only
But
chapter one of the story. Now we're gonna get
what?
it. Yeah, chapter two is when Ed and Lorraine got involved, and that's when
Oh,
things start
goodness.
picking up a notch. Okay. Also, we've been filming an hour and 23 minutes. I wanted to make this an hour, but I just didn't. The Annabelle story is just so big and there's a lot of details that I could like cut corners and
Yeah.
keep it short, but I just want to tell you everything about Annabelle. I don't want to like, cut it, be like, okay, just, keep it short, like, sugarcoat. I want you to know everything.
So this is so the everything is not from the movie that you're saying, right? Or is this?
Oh, the thing about no, I'm talking about this is like the actual story. Like
I just keep getting mail handed to me.
some of the stuff I'm mentioning, like some of this is in the movie, but the majority of it is
Hmm.
not. Because Hollywood would take a story and kind of just they would like exaggerate it
Yeah.
for like story purposes.
Hold here. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you thought it
Sorry.
was over. Like you were like, yeah, that was an interesting story, and I'm like, yeah, that's just chapter one. You're like, what? Chapter one now? But
Chapter
yeah,
who to what now?
so yeah, chapter two, we're gonna get into Ed and Lorraine Warren. This is when they enter the fold. So while
Okay.
Silent loudly opens Mel, I'm gonna just continue.
Yeah,
I'm
keep
just
going.
I'm just gonna keep it going, man. Silent's just doing her own thing right now.
Yeah,
Just
don't
ignore
worry. I'm
her.
listening.
You
Yeah.
know, if you're into ASMR letter opening, she got you. But
A little both thing. I can't open this.
just ignore her.
Oh.
Anyway, eventually, so this is when Ed and Lorraine Warren gets involved. So eventually, in an attempt to rid their home of the Annabelle doll spirits,
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry,
Sorry. Don't laugh me.
it's so.
I've opened it. I've
I'm,
opened it. Keep
I'm sorry.
going.
No,
Go on.
it's just I can't. It's just like I'm trying to talk about a haunted dog that's been murdering people and causing people pain and misery, and you're just over there, just like.
Opening man. You know me.
Anyway, eventually, in an attempt to rid their home from the Annabelle doll spirit, Donna and Andy called an Episcopal priest known as Father Hegan. Hegan contacted his superior, Father Cook, who alerted Ed and Lorraine Warren. Also, like, why do they call the priest father? Like, all priests are like father and then whatever their name is. Is there like a reason for that, or is it just something to have? You know?
Um, I mean, I think the
No.
reason why priests are called father is more because, they're like, I don't know. I'm gonna look it up.
You may be my father, but you ain't my daddy.
Called a father. I think it's because they're like, oh, it's a sign of respect and because they act as spiritual leaders in our
Okay,
lives. So it's
that
kind of
makes
like,
sense. That makes sense.
yeah.
I'd rather call you Gerald than Father Gerald.
Oh.
Preach, Gerald! Anyway, so as far as Ed and Lorraine Warren were concerned, the two young ladies' trouble truly started when they began believing that the doll deserved their sympathy. The Warrens believed that there was actually a demonic force in search of a human host within Annabelle and not a benevolent soul. The Warrens' account of the case stats. Also, I'm gonna get really close to the mic. Fire that medium. Why does she still have a job, bro? What you? I still can't believe it, man. Am I wrong about mediums like feeling energy? Because yeah, the doll says that they're a spirit, but surely you can feel the energy. That I don't know if they're telling the truth. This energy just doesn't feel like a child, or am I wrong? I
You're
don't
not
know.
wrong.
Anyway, so
Getting things happening over here.
no, it's okay. If you have to mute, that's fine. You know, I'll just pull up Discord real quick, so I'm not like waiting for 5 minutes for you to answer. But yeah, I'll
No,
just.
no, wait 5 minutes for me to answer. Don't worry.
Are you going to say anything, idiot? Anyway, like that Mickey Mouse,
God.
nice.
There we go. Cool. I'm good.
Anyway,
I'm now set.
so
I'm good. We're good.
so I think this is so the Warrens was like the Warrens said, right? So this is like a exact
Mhm.
quote. So spirits do not possess inanimate objects like houses or toys. They possess people. An inhuman spirit can attach itself to a place or object, and this is occurred in the Annabelle case. The spirit manipulated the doll and created the illusion of it being alive in order to get recognition. Truly, the spirit was not looking to stay attached to the doll. It was looking to possess a human host. So, human
Yeah.
spirits, human spirits cannot possess items. Entities can possess items, not human spirits. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, a human spirit cannot possess an item, apparently. Um, but
I feel like they should be able to possess anything. Like, it's a spirit. Why can't they just possess what they want to possess?
probably a power
I don't know.
thing. Do they probably don't have enough energy to, move around and stuff. Anyway, immediately the Warrens noted that, or what they believed were signs of demonic possession, including teleportation, which is basically the doll moving on its own, materialization, which is the parchment paper notes, and the mark of the beast, which is Louis's clawed chest. And the Warrants subsequently ordered an exorcism of the apartment to be performed by Father Cook. Shout out to the
Mm.
Lord. Then they took Annabelle out of the apartment and to her final resting place in the occult museum in hopes that her demonic reign would finally end. So, yeah, that's the story of Annabelle. But
That's the whole story?
yeah.
Oh. That's interesting, though. Like,
Well, that's not the whole story. So that's like the story of how she became to be, and then the
yeah,
Warrens got her, ended up in the museum. But should I
the
could
gist of it.
yeah, if you want, I we could I have a couple of like um situations that Annabelle's been a part of, a couple of incidents. I can go into that.
Do like two incidents. We'll save the others for another.
Yeah, Annabelle has so many incidents. We could probably make a whole podcast related to her.
Honestly, we could.
Anyway, so following Annabelle's removal of Donna and Andy's apartment, the Warrens documented several other paranormal experiences involving the doll. The first just minutes after they took possession of her. So this first incident is literally they took the doll, left, and minutes after they left, shit started going down. So after the exorcism of the nurse's apartment, the Warrens buckled Annabelle into the backseat, which this is what you were talking about earlier before I started about them having car
Mm-hmm.
trouble and stuff. But
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna take the story you said and I'm gonna give a little bit more details. So they
Mm-hmm.
buckled Annabelle into the back seat of their car and vowed not to take her on the highway in case some accidents happen, causing power over them and their vehicles. So, however, even the safer back roads proved, too risky for the couple because she started messing with their car. So, on the way home, Lorraine claimed that the brakes either stalled or failed several times, resulting in near crashes, off road crashes and stuff. Lorraine also claimed that as soon as Ed pulled holy water from his bag and doused the doll with it, the problems with the brakes disappeared. So
Oh.
upon arriving home, Ed and Lorraine placed the dolls in Ed's study. They also reported that the dolls levitated and moved from about in the house. Even when placed in a locked office in an outer building, the Warrens claimed that she would turn up later inside the house. So they had like a little office outside their main house, and they would put the doll in this outer outside building and even lock the doors, and somehow the doll would find its way in their house. How? I don't know.
Mm.
So finally, the Warrens decided to lock Annabelle up for good. So the Warrens had
Mhm.
a specially made glass and wooden case constructed upon which they. My throat is just for the past 5 minutes. My throat has just been so wonky.
Drink a sip of water.
Water's for nerds. I'd rather drink Dr. Pepper. Anyway, they had a especially made glass and wooden case constructed upon which they described the Lord's prayers and Saint Michael's prayers for the rest of his life. Ed would periodically say a binding prayer over the case, ensuring that the sinister spirit and the doll remain good and trapped. So it's basically a demon in the box at this point. So since being locked up, Annabelle the doll hasn't moved again, though it is it's alleged that her spirit has found ways to reach out to earthly plane. Basically, it's like
Mhm.
even though Annabelle's in a glass case, there has been occasions that she somehow managed to like reach outside the case and stuff, but she's limited because most of her is still in that box. Um, um,
In a box.
Here's another incident, right? So
Mhm.
once a priest who was visiting the Warrens Museum picked up Annabelle and discounted her demonic abilities, basically saying, "Ah, man, she ain't real, man, just an empty vessel." And Ed warned the priest about mocking Annabelle's demonic powers, but the young priest laughed him off. On his way home, the priest was involved in a near fatal crash that totaled his new car. He claimed to have seen Annabelle in his rearview mirror just before the accident. So imagine
Oh.
like
Wait, who? Wait, which accident was this?
there was a priest that was mocking Annabelle, and
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah, so the priest was in his car, and he saw Annabelle, like literally Annabelle in his rearview mirror, not the spirit, but like he saw the Annabelle doll in his rearview mirror, and then bam, car crash. He
Oh.
survived. He almost died. It was like near fatal, but he survived. But yeah, years later,
Oh, this is the one that survived. Oh.
yeah, and yeah, this he survived. And another
Mhm.
incident is years later after this priest incident, um, another visitor wrapped the glass of the Annabelle doll's case and laughed at how silly people were to believe in her. On his way home, he reportedly lost control of his motorcycle and crashed headlong into a tree. He was killed instantly, and his girlfriend just barely survived. Hold
That's
on?
scary though.
Did I get that confused? Then I
What?
might have. Then I might have got the stories confused.
Oh.
Remember in Robert the Doll how I said there was a guy who taunted Robert and he got into a car crash with his girlfriend? I think I might have mixed that up. I think that was Annabelle that did that, not Robert.
Yeah. Oh.
Oops. I'm sorry. Okay, just
Oopsie.
scratch that. Robert the Doll didn't cause that. Annabelle caused it. I feel kind of stupid. How did I mix that? How did I miss? I literally have Robert the doll next to the story. I think I might have, because I wrote all these key points down, right? And then
Mhm.
right afterwards, I kind of wrote all this, like, I wrote the doll's name next to the story. I think I might have accidentally wrote Robert's next to that instead of Annabelle's. Oopsie doopsie, I made a mistake. But yeah, like I said, so yeah, guy died in a motorcycle accident. But yeah, she claimed that at the end of the accident, um, okay, so you want to hear something weird? So right, like literally seconds before the accident happened, both of them were laughing about, you know, the Annabelle doll, and then seconds later, boom, crash. But yeah, over the years, the Warrens continued to recount these tales as proof of Annabelle's, or the Annabelle doll's horrific powers. Though none of these stories could be corrub, you know, I guess proven,
Yeah.
because like they said it's happened, but there's really no proof that any of this stuff actually happened. But the names of the young priest and the motorcyclist were never divulged, div, divulged. Neither Donna nor at Angie, the two nurses who were Annabelle's first victims, ever came forward with their story. Neither Father Cook nor Father Higgins appeared to have mentioned their exorcisms of her ever again. So they don't know if it's true or not. Maybe these people were just so traumatized by the experience they vowed to never mention her name ever again. Or maybe it never happened. Like the Warrens say this stuff happened, but like the people who were involved, they never mentioned it like ever. So nobody actually knows if any of this stuff happened. It's kind of like speculation.
Mhm.
But yeah, all we have is the Warrens' word that any of these took place. The Warrens say all this stuff happened, but the victims never came out and said it, which honestly, like, if you had a traumatic experience with a haunted doll and you were like traumatized for multiple years, would you ever want to think about that ever again? Like, you wouldn't want to talk about it, would you?
No. No.
But yeah, that's the story of Annabelle, all the incidents and stuff.
I like Annabelle's history. I think it's cool.
So
I think it's cool.
that's all the haunted dolls and stuff.
Cool.
And the
That's
next
fun. There's more haunted dolls than that, but
part two, maybe, guys, if you want to see a part two, you know, just let me know.
Mhm.
Get this to like a quarter of a like, just a quarter of the like 1 point. Okay, that's more than a quarter, isn't it? What's a quarter? 25. Get this to 0.25 likes, and then I'll consider making a part two. Is it possible? Can you like split a like in half?
Yeah,
Hmm.
sure.
If you split a like in half, wouldn't it be 11?
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, on the next podcast episode, we're going to discover, you know, the secrets of the Teletubbies. Ooh.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. Why is there a baby's face
Mhm.
in the sun? Who knows? But anyway, yeah,
Oh.
I did. Silent was here and stuff, but like I did do most of the research with these dolls, and I just want to say, I was, I've had like 2 hours of sleep though, because since you're a busy person, and I can't really predict when you'll be available and stuff. I stayed up pretty much all night doing these research, writing everything down, going from
Why did
website to
you do
website.
that?
What?
I can't believe you stayed up so late.
Oh, it's worth it. I'm tired, but
Don't
yeah.
worry, son. I will take over the podcast for an episode next time, okay? You don't have to worry about next episode, okay? Don't you
You want to
worry.
do the haunted locations?
You know what? I'm gonna leave it a surprise. Don't worry, I got this.
I was gonna do the haunted locations, but if you want to take over the next podcast,
Mhm. I'm taking over as the Chaos King.
I don't even know what to expect, guys. Like, usually I tell you, hey, next episode this has happened, but I don't even know, guys. So who knows?
I'm hosting next.
Welcome to
My
Ghost
turn.
Theory.
Don't
Oh, but yeah,
worry.
that's the end of that podcast. I know this has nothing to do with horror or paranormal, but I think it's kind of like in the supernatural realm, sort of, maybe. But I do want to do an episode on aliens, like UFOs and stuff. I think that'll be cool. Anyway, guys, that's the end of the podcast. My stuff will be down in the description below. Silence channel will also be in the description below. She's like, I want to say she's like 70-ish, 80-ish. She's close to like 1,000, sort of. I think she's like at 913, maybe.
What?
I think. Don't quote
Oh,
me. What do you mean?
haven't
What? Did you not know that?
you? 9:16. But I didn't
Okay.
want to look. I was scared to
Okay.
look.
Well, she was on 913 last night, so I guess she moved up. She got 3 subscribers since then. But yeah, guys, you gotta go get her to 1,000 subscribers, or the podcast is canceled. That's it. I'm canceling it. And I'm gonna make a new podcast called Baking with Buns.
Wait, what?
Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye bye.
Bye.